Professor videos. Gotta make sure I have my drink ready. Back here on Professor Chess videos, I've got a sweet Bobby Fischer game here. He's playing Goldhammer. Bobby throws a Sicilian defense on this guy, and he does it well. This is one of his better efforts in the, I believe this is still the 1956 Eastern States Open. I do believe, if I remember correctly, hopefully I do. D4, and of course the C will take the D, and the knight will take the D4, yes, and Bobby will bring his knight. So we've got a good start. This probably happens fairly quickly in the opening, simply because the moves are more or less understood very well in what works in the Sicilian, yes. He's going to prepare to castle. Bishop e2, and Bobby comes right at the center, tickles the knight, and bumps him back to b3. And now Bobby is also going to prepare to castle. Good thing to do, yes. Bishop e7. And one more developmental move for Goldhammer. Bobby says, oh, okay, you're going to let me be the first to castle. I'll castle. I'll take the opportunity. And now Goldhammer makes a dubious move. F3. No. Castle. Castle and then G4 is the main line. So, Bobby is going to take advantage of this by developing another piece. Interesting. Let's keep our eye on that idea. Queen D2. So, Goldhammer's essentially saying, well, now look at me. I'm cool because I can castle either side, right? This is what he was trying to show. Is that effective? Well, Bobby says, well, if you're going to come on the queen side, I'm going to get a jump on attacking that. Very nice. Yeah, he's got a jump on the attack right now, even before Goldhammer castles. That's kind of cool to see. So, Goldhammer says, well, okay, I'll do the second best. I'll grab the partial open file. You know, the queen leading, that's not the best way, but then it's not, he's not in the middle of the game to where he moves the queen and uses the rook, so it's all good. However, there is a downside to this. We're going to see this. And now G4, and that is a complete blunder. Whoops. Nope. Wrong way to play that. Now, you've messed up your castling. There's no place for the king to hide. So, for all intents and purposes, Goldhammer's going to have to just basically say, well, I'm going to come and get you then. I'm going to attack. So, this is not good. And Bobby takes advantage of it by yet again bringing another piece into this game. Very good move. And, I mean, if you're going to mess up your king side from the castle, go total out. Throw those pawns out there and see what you can make stick, right? Bobby is going to make sure that his knights can be coordinated with other pieces. Yes? So he is going to manipulate the knight, and now really G5. Go all out, but what do we see here? Really, the pawns. Here's the problem. Now, Fischer does this, and he's blockaded the H-pawn. The white pawns don't have the pieces behind them to support them, more or less. Yeah? So, it's not going to end up being a pawn roller. Doggone it. That knight move essentially stifles it. So without pieces backing the pawns, it's a gamble that your probability is going to be too low to have an effective attack, right? So king f2. He's got nowhere to put the king, so what the heck? And now, this is good. This is great. This is one of the first things I wanted to point out to you in this game, because of the character of Goldhammer's handling his non-castling and the fact that Bobby has stopped the attack in its tracks, yes? Because of that, and the king has not castled. There's no point in castling, really. Now it's time. This triggers us to say, hey, it's time to open it up. So open it up. Now the goal is to open lanes to get to the white king. And that's what we see Bobby doing. This is great chess. King G2 and F wilt. Now remember, you're trying to open lanes. So don't keep pressing your pawn. Start taking out pawns. Open the center. Take pieces. Exchange. Open the king. That's the motive here. Now the bishop will take the knight, which is not too big of a problem for Bobby. He'll exchange at this point and has a great diagonal in toward that king side now, doesn't he? On the dark squares. That's beautiful to see, yeah? Well, the knight comes to d5, puts a decent fork on the queen and the bishop, and that bishop is also keeping his eye on these pawns, yes? So, the fork is beautiful. Do you freak out? No, you don't. You certainly look over everything. Yes, you do. You don't ignore that. You realize, okay, nice fork. However, there's a good move here that can help you ignore that for the moment. Continue on with what you're doing. Your objective here, Bobby Fischer's, is to open up the white king. So proceed as if that knight never even made a move. Ignore the threat. Take the pawn. Now look, here, this is what's nice to see. This little guy here has taken 2 pawns. He's opening up the white king. And you say, yeah, that's kind of a, you see the pawn fork, the king and the bishop. Well, you know the king's not going to take it, so the bishop does. Of course, that goes, right? That goes without saying. Because the king can't, and the king shouldn't anyway. You got to keep him behind something because he's blown his cover really, really bad, yes? Where was I? Bishop takes f3. Yeah, now bishop takes d5. Nice, you pin the bishop to the king. And you go, well, so what? So the bishop will take the bishop and go check. And the real nice thing is, now you see, hey, look. He's got some pretty good power backing him up, a queen and a rook, Well, what do? Oh, you move out of check. Right? Truly, that's what he did. I'm just saying. Well, he wants to open the file. I mean, that's good. Of course, the queen isn't the most effective piece to lead that charge down that file, right? It's pretty safe. That back pawn is guarded by the bishop and all that jazz. So it's not like they're going to get a breakthrough on that file yet. Yeah. So try to put more pressure on Bobby's castle king by bringing the bishop back and pointing that direction. Right? The trick is, again, a one-piece attack. And it's truly, there's no coordination here. This is granite. Unfortunately for him. I mean, it's granite to white, and yet he's got to have it out of the way if he's going to have an effective attack, right? So white just didn't get truly very coordinated here. That's kind of a rough notion here. Now, you've got central pawns. Push. Tickle the bishop. Make him make up his mind. Say, yeah? What do you think? Now, if you think that's a free pawn, you better think again. Right? Yeah, look at how cool the queen and the rook is coordinated. That's really nice to see. That's the effect, again, of the open file, which white does not have. But Bobby does. So Bobby gives us the impression that he is better coordinated. Yes, he has a good setup here. So push those pawns. The central pawns, very, very nice. Well, bishop comes back to f3, and now, kablam, check. Yeah, this is getting tough, right? Knight f4, king will come up to g3, and now bishop will come to d6, once again helping out in the future coordination of the attack on that king, right? You can see how that does help, and if you can't, then I'll show you here just shortly. The rook comes to f1. So he does have both rooks in. It is an open file. Yeah, there's stuff there, but it is an open file. And now you have central pawns. And the beauty is they're connected and they're wide open. Keep on pushing, right? That is wonderful to see. You just see the coordination between the pieces and the pawns of Fischer here. That's what makes this game so fun to play through, over and over and over again. This is absolutely superb. So the bishop, more or less, has to come up to here. So let's tickle the rook. What's Bobby going to do about that rook? Is he going to do anything? Is he going to all of a sudden say, oh my goodness, I'm going to be down the exchange, I have to do something? If you're thinking that, hold on, wait. There's something better to look at. Keep looking. This is why it's so fun to learn how to read the board. Not that I'm real good at it, but I'm getting there, kind of. So take an overall look. There is a very nice tactic here that Bobby has set up, because his pieces are so beautifully coordinated. The f2 square can be a tough square for white if he's not very careful. He's got it set up so that he's going to have a discovered check on that king if he moves that knight anywhere. It doesn't matter where he moves. He obviously is not going to go there, but he's got a discovered check. Those can be deadly. By pushing the pawn to e3, you notice he's ignoring the exchange of the bishop for the rook. He has a better issue. Threaten the queen. And it's here that Goldhamer resigned. And it's real fascinating to see how beautifully coordinated Bobby's pieces are. There is really no good square for the queen to go to, is there? Bobby's got pretty much every square covered, right? You can see that. Well, you say, well, what happens if you exchange the queens? I mean, that takes the pressure off, doesn't it? Bobby will take, and then you'll take. Well, you can, except Bobby would rather do that. Fork the queen and the king. Again, those knights, man, keep an eye on those knights. Those can be pretty cotton-picking deadly, right? So you say, well, that wouldn't work. What if queen goes to e1? Then you have knight to d3. You have a discovered check, and he loses his queen anyway. To, again, that dastardly knight. So, White, that is one reason why White resigned. And you say, well, what about if you had queen to h2? What if you did that? Then you've got e2. And what a fantastic pawn fork, right? And you go, well, that's not a big deal. That's nothing, because you can bishop takes the e2, right? The bishop takes the e2 and you're done. But then the knight takes the e2. Double check, right? The bishop and, or no, the bishop and the knight. So once the king moves, then you've got the queen. Wow, right? That was a screaming setup. I loved. One of the things that I love best about this game is how to see Bobby put his pieces in such a way that he had a crisscross of attacks, and one of the main parts was this open file, and how it coordinated so well with the knight, the bishop, and the queen. That was a wonderful, wonderful win for Bobby. So, thanks for watching the Backyard Professor videos. Remember, do well, be good, have fun, stay happy, make lots of friends. Have a fabulous day, and I will see you in the next Backyard Professor Chess video.